Hello everyone, welcome to week 1 of Skill of the Week. In today's skill, we are going to be looking at reciprocals as well as dividing fractions and mixed numbers. So let's get started. So I'm sure that you all remember what a reciprocal is, but I just want to go over it. So if I have a reciprocal, it's the inverse of the number, it's the opposite. So if I have the number 3, we know that 3 as a fraction is typically written as 3 over 1. So we have to do the opposite. So the reciprocal of 3 would be 1/3. That is my reciprocal. If I have 5/8, okay, I'm going to flip my fraction. So it's going to be 8 over 5. It is my opposite of 5/8, 8 over 5. And then if I have 1/9, my reciprocal would be 9 over 1, or I could just write 9. Either is fine. We use reciprocals when we are dividing fractions and mixed numbers. So before we get started, the number one rule that you have to remember when we divide fractions is keep, change, flip. So if you don't know what that means, if I'm dividing 4/7, okay, divided by 3/5, 4/7 divided by 3/5, I'm gonna keep my first fraction. So I'm keeping my 4/7. So I'm gonna rewrite that. That's going to stay the same. It's gonna be 4/7, okay? I'm changing my sign. So since I'm dividing, I'm going to make that multiplication. And it's always multiplication. And then I'm going to flip, which is I'm going to use the reciprocal of my second fraction. So 3/5, I know that my reciprocal is 5/3. And then I'm just gonna follow along and multiply like I normally would. Okay, before we start dividing fractions, I just want to show you a really helpful trick that I like to use called cross-reducing or cross-simplifying. So I'm going to look at my division problem. I have 4/6 divided by 2/3. So I'm going to keep, change, flip. I'm going to keep my 4/6. I'm going to change my sign, and I'm going to use my reciprocal. I'm going to flip, and I'm going to do 3 over 2. This doesn't work always, but sometimes you can do it. So you look at the numbers that are across from each other and you say 4 and 2, do they have any factors that they share in common? I would say to myself, okay, 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 4, so you divide. 2 goes into 4 twice, so I'm going to make this a 2, and 2 goes into 2 once, so I'm going to make this a 1. I'm going to say, can I do this over here? And I'm going to say, what factors do 3 and 6 share? And I know that they both share the factor of 3. 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. Now I can multiply across. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. And my answer is 1. If you don't want to cross simplify, this is just an option. But let's just say I didn't, and I had 4/6 times 3 over 2. I just want to show you I'm going to get the same answer. I would do 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 2 is 12. And 12 over 12 equals 1. The only thing that is helpful about this is when you have larger numbers, it saves you work in the end of having to keep simplifying. Okay, so now we are going to look at these. So I have 1/2 divided by 3. So another thing I just want to share is like, what does 1/2 divided by 3 mean? So if you have, let's say that you have, like a half of a pizza or something. Here's my pizza. And I just have half of a pizza. And that would mean if I were dividing it, into 1/3, what would it look like? So each of these pieces would be 1/6. I just want to give you a little visual. But anyway, okay, so if I have 1/2, I'm going to change my sign from division to multiplication. And then I'm going to use my reciprocal, so it would be 3 over 1, which would be 1/3. I'm going to multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6, and my answer is 1/6. This one over here, I'm going to do 9/14. And then I'm going to change my sign. And then I'm going to flip my 3/7 to 7/3, my reciprocal. For this one, I'm going to say, let me try and cross-reduce this one. So I'm going to say I have a 9 and a 3. Do they have any factors in common? And I do. So the 3 goes into 3 once. And 3 goes into 9 3 times. Oh, and I can do it over here as well. 7 and 14, a factor that they share would be 7. 7 goes into 7 one time, and 7 goes into 14 twice. So 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. So I have 3 over 2, which 2 goes into 3 one time with 1 left over. So I have 1 1/2. Again, I just want to show you if I didn't cross reduce, if I had 9/14 times 7/3. So this is an example where you're working with bigger numbers. So I know that 9 times 7 is going to give me 63. And I know that 14 times 3 is 42. So I would say, how many times does 42 go into 63? I know that's going to go in once. And then I am going to have 21 over 42, which would then, again, be simplified to 1 1/2. But this just shows you how much time that saves. All right, so now this one I'm working with a mixed number. So if I have 5 1/2 divided by 7/8. So first thing I'm going to do is you always have to make sure that you convert your mixed number into an improper fraction. So I know 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 plus 1 is 11. So I have 11 over 2. I'm going to change my sign to multiplication. I'm going to use my reciprocal. So I'm going to do 8 over 7. So I'm going to say, can I cross reduce here? So 11 and 7 are both prime numbers, and they don't have any factors in common, so I cannot cross reduce there. But for 8 and 2, I know 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. So I have 11 times 4, which is 44, and I have 1 times 7, which is 7. So I have 44 sevens. So again, now I have to convert this back to a mixed number, and I know 7 goes into 44 6 times, because 6 times 7 is 42, with 2 left over, 6 and 2 sevens. Okay, so at this point, I am going to have you try some on your own while working with me. So the first one that I want you to do is 4 divided by 1/2. I want everyone to press pause and do it now, and then we'll come back and go over it. Welcome back. Okay, so if I'm doing 4 divided by 1/2, so I'm doing 4 over 1, and remember I'm going to change this to multiplication. I'm going to use my reciprocal, 2 over 1, which is going to give me 8 over 1. So what does this mean if you're doing 4 divided by 1/2? If you have a word problem, you're trying to figure out, is it 4 divided by 1/2? Is it 1/2 divided by 4? I'm trying to figure out how many 1/2s are in 4. So if I have 4, and I'm trying to see how many halves are in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that would be my answer. Now I'm going to have you do 1/2 divided by 4. Press pause. Okay, let's go over it. So if I have 1/2 divided by 4, I'm going to start with my 1/2. I'm going to switch my sign to multiplication, and I am going to use my reciprocal. Remember, so this is 4, but it's really 4 over 1, so that would be 1/4. So 1 times 1 is 1, and then 2 times 4 is 8. So I have 1/8. So if you want to know, like, what would the difference be if I had to draw a picture of 1/2 divided by 4 versus 4 divided by 1/2? Let's just say, again, we're going to go back to pizza. Let's say that I have 1/2, and I'm dividing it into fourths. I'm really not that good at art. And I was only working with half, so I'd only be working with this half. These would all be in eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eighths. Each little one of these pieces would be 1/8. All right, we're going to do 6 2/3 divided by 4/5. Press pause. And now let's go over it. 6 2/3. So remember, I have a mixed number. I have to make it into an improper fraction. I'm going to do 6 times 3, which I know is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20 over 3. I'm going to change my sign to multiplication, and I'm going to use the reciprocal. So I'm going to do 5/4. I'm going to say, can I cross reduce 20 and 4? I sure can. 4 goes into 4 once, and 4 goes into 25 times. These two numbers are both prime, so I'm just going to leave them as they are. I'm going to multiply across. I know 5 times 5 would be 25. 3 times 1 is 3. And I cannot leave this as an improper fraction. I have to do it as a mixed number. So I know 3 goes into 25 8 times. And so 3 times 4 is, 3 times 8 is 24. So I have 1 left over. So 1/3. So my answer is 8 and 1/3. All right, you know what to do. Press pause, and we're gonna go over this one. All right, ready? So 1 1/3 divided by 1/6. So I'm going to do 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. I have 4/3. Change that sign to multiplication. I'm going to use my reciprocal, which is 6/1. Cannot cross simplify or cross reduce here because when you have a 1, you just can't. Because 1 obviously is going to go into 1 once and 1's going to go into 4 times, so you're going to have the same number. So I'm going to look at my 6 and my 3. So 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 6 twice. 4 times 2 is going to give me 8. And 1 times 1 is 1, so my answer is just 8. All right, our final 2. So this one's a little harder because we have a lot more to do. So go ahead, press pause, and do this problem. Okay, welcome back. So I'm going to do 2 times 10 is 20 plus 1 is 21 over 2. Changing my sign to multiply. And then 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. So I have 11/5, but remember we need the reciprocal. So I'm gonna put my 5 up top, my 11 on the bottom. Okay, so I have 21 over 2 times 5 over 11. So this one's a little tricky because I cannot cross simplify. So 21 times 5 is going to give me 105. If you didn't know how to do that, you would just do it on the side. 21 times 5. 2 times 11 is 22. Okay, so now we have to say, all right, how many times does 22 go into 105? So let's say, I think that is 5. So I'm gonna just try it on the side. 22 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11, so I went too high. So I know that 22 times 4 is gonna give me 88. I'm going to do 105 minus 88. I'm going to do it right on the side. I know that 15 minus 8 is 7. 9 minus 8 is 1. So I'm going to have 4 and 17 over 22. That was a big one. All right, and our final problem that we are going to do, press pause. All right, so our final problem. So remember, 9/10. I'm going to keep that number. I'm going to change my division sign to a multiplication sign, and I'm going to flip or use my reciprocal. 6/1. Can I cross reduce? I can, because 6 and 10 share the factor of 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. 9 times 3 is 27. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 goes into 27 5 times with 2 left over, 5 2/5. So that is all for the skill of the week this week. I just want you to remember when you are doing your division problems, when you're working on reciprocals, make sure that you are double checking your work. So reciprocals, remember, you're going to flip whatever number you have. I have some assignments for you to do, and everything that you're doing tonight is going to count towards your IXL summer work. If you have any questions or need me, please do not hesitate to reach out. See you soon. Bye.